evening, mga
Picture.
kalaro. Picture?
I don't know. Sorry.
What's going on, man?
I'm just trying to break the format like I did last
All
time.
right, there you go. Anyway, welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro channel that talks about a different kind of game, the reality TV game show and social experiment that has run for over 2 decades, Survivor. I'm Chief Bizdak, Joel Percon, and with me, as always, is Juxta Potato, Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
I'm just gonna put this out there. I posit that we are the sexiest Titos ever to do this.
Yes, of course, we are the sexist. But I asked you a question, Jao. What's up, Jao?
Oh yeah, it's 8:15.
Oh man.
Also with us is the man with the thoughts, Martin. Martin, how are you doing?
A bit disappointed because apparently the several hour just passed by. We're already at 8. Oh.
All right. So, anyway, speaking of several, for tonight we are going to talk about episode several of Survivor season 40, several minus one, entitled episode several. But before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on this channel. And for those of you who don't want to have to look at our mugs whenever we talk about Survivor, you can always get us where you get your podcasts and search for Council of Titos. And you'll find us here, the sexiest Titos to ever do this. And so, without further ado, let's begin. What are your highest highs, gentlemen?
We're all thinking it. It was the challenge, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh,
Mhm.
God.
Like everything that happened in the challenge
Best.
was the
This
best.
The best decision ever not to skip this challenge. Sorry.
Yes. Like all of the banter that they had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Charlie breaking the fourth wall was a great was a great production decision there.
I have that in my note. I have that in my note here. He gets a halpert.
Yep.
He actually got he got a couple of halperts in this episode. But that one, yeah. I mean, first before that, we have to talk about the attempt at doing the alphabet game, which was hilariously pitiful.
I don't think there was an attempt at the start. They just really wanted to, like, troll or pile on Q.
No, I don't.
Really?
No. I think
No.
that the first attempts were real.
Were real.
And then it was Charlie who trolled on Q.
Yeah, that's that was the impression that I got as well. It was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody was a bit confused, being out there for like almost 2 weeks without food, really, and then all of a sudden you have you have Q being like, all right, we're gonna play the alphabet game. Like, oh my god, my feet are burning and I have to think. Like,
Imagine what would have happened if they had to name food items, right?
Oh,
you're
that would've been
already
horrible.
hungry.
That would be worse.
You're already hungry, and then you're going to think of a food beginning with A, right? I doubt they'd get. It would have been hard to get past A.
Pull B.
I mean, they barely got past
Pull
B.
Yeah, technically, if you actually follow Q's rules to the game, then they just got past A. That's it. They never got to B.
Freaking Baltimore spikes the camera.
after like okay, I got this, guys, I got this. And then you've got a pregnant pause. Baltimore. Then does a halpert.
So good.
Oh my god, yeah. And kudos to production. I mean, after like Hunter also with that comment, you gotta these are the times when you gotta appreciate those elapsed time moments, and then all of a sudden you get a lapse time moment where you gotta get a montage of what happens, and then you have been there for yada yada minutes.
I actually have that as a little bit of a low, just like a little nitpick of a low, because they didn't have an elapsed time lower third. They just cut straight to a montage.
True. They should have added that in the bottom.
Yeah,
true.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. That I don't have lows for this episode.
And yeah,
well, I have like one low, but
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of highs. I mean, I think Jao, you finally hit your prediction. Things are
Yeah.
starting to pick up,
Oh, right,
especially
right.
with
I
this
just
episode.
I just gotta continue. You just make the same prediction like over and over again, right?
Yeah, it worked for me.
Right? You know,
Uh-huh.
they say that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and
Mm-hmm.
expecting a different outcome. I
Mm-hmm.
beg to differ.
Yeah.
And how about us getting some new information about what what African American people mean when they ask you what's up, right? That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah. Thank you, Tim. I like that.
Yeah,
Subject.
No,
Okay.
thank you, Q. That's what black people.
yeah.
That's how black people ask you the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I suppose. I wouldn't know. I'm not going to. Not
Yeah,
going to
me
comment on
neither,
that.
man. Man.
It's not part of my lived experience. So,
Yeah.
you know.
So, well, at least we now know.
But
What
do we?
other
But do we? Q is an
Dewey?
unreliable narrator. He did
There
say
you
he
go.
threw
Yeah.
the challenge, but
Mm-hmm.
like I suppose that's copium, right? It's
Yeah.
like spelled with a Q right at the beginning, copium.
Yeah.
Um,
Copium. Copium.
because like it looked like he very clearly fell off. I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I mean that whole thing about he had a good strategy. I would like to think that he because if you notice, everyone else transitioned from the lower rung up to
Mhm.
the top ledge right away. But he sat down
Mm.
first,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
Because they were allowed to do that, and I think that was right because you give your legs a bit of a rest.
Yep.
But
yeah,
I don't know. He just it backfired on him when he tried to get up when he tried to get up on the ledge.
yeah, and I suppose like his I threw that challenge on purpose, just copium on his part because
Yeah,
we've
of
already
course.
seen a history of him wanting to, you know, vote me out. You know, like so I don't know, unreliable narrator. So I'm actually going to um I should ask, people that are more familiar with African American vernacular English if that is really what it means. You know?
So can we call that moment of him falling not a choke with a Q in the end?
Yes.
That's a choke with a Q in the end.
Choke. Yeah. Choke with the Q. And the way he
Okay.
dealt with it is copium with a Q right at the beginning.
Yeah. Sticking with Q and the challenge. I also loved how Tim called him out because he had
Oh
this
yeah.
whole thing about like my father said that I shouldn't when I'm not in a fight I shouldn't be talking. And then he starts talking and then like
I
Tim's
know.
like Tim's like you're not in the fight.
Or maybe that was the show telling us that he is in a fight. Oh.
Oh,
I don't know.
he's Tim and he were actually in some sort of fight
Yeah.
after the challenge. All right.
Yeah. Speaking of Dim, right?
Mm,
Like his throwback to the Gabler, like,
mm,
this is your shout outs and all of that.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like
He
when
just
Gabler did it, it was heroic. Now
yeah.
that you're doing, you just sound like a fool, and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm here for every moment of it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, when Gabler did it, it was a little bit more noble because he was dedicating every minute to someone else, right? Someone
Yeah,
new. But he was just straight up shouting out people that he knew and then relatives of Maria's kids, Maria's family, right? And then Q chimes in and then he calls Q out.
you
Oh
know,
well.
giving Tim the benefit of the doubt there though, because I was thinking about this. Like, is there ever a world where this is a good move? I mean, probably not. But the thought that I had was, is this is this a little bit of like premature jury management here, where he's trying to show
Mm,
everybody that, yo, I've been listening to your stories, because he starts like shouting out, the relatives of the other people in the tribe, as if to say like, yo, I'm listening. You know,
hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
What do
That
you think,
was
Martz?
that was just the thought that I
It,
had.
it feels like it actually, but bro, yeah, like it feels something else. I forgot which season it was, but it's alluding to, I know these guys, but if you try to vote me up, you won't make it to the family visit. That creepy guy from that episode of, oh, I can't. Yeah, basically that creepy teacher guy that kind of used that ploy to say, hey, keep me here so you will stay till the family visit in this season, in that season. It was pre Survivor 40. I think that's where the guy who won was the guy who got back from Exile Island.
Chris.
Chris, yeah,
Yeah.
that one. I remember it felt like that to me, like when Tim was doing that. It's like, so what are you implying? Like you gotta be kept or they're out? But this episode proves otherwise. He got out easily because it wasn't the full tribe. It was split into two. And those who wanted him out got him out. Doesn't work that way.
I have thoughts about that, but we'll...
that's how I got that one. That's why I had a bit of a I was like, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that?
Well, it's a little bit too early to tell because Tim just got voted out. So we don't know if the others who actually voted him out will make it to the family visit, right?
I mean, they're probably not going to have a family visit again, right? Like Survivor, the budgets are shrinking.
Yeah, the budgets
and
are shrinking.
Seeing how much they spent on tribal, I doubt they have enough for like a family visit.
Or maybe a family. I mean, they've been doing like I don't know. Aside from letters, maybe they can have like family recordings, like the
God, that was the single creepiest thing from that season. Like all of a sudden they start hearing voices from out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That was a Randy Orton thing, in case anybody like picked that up.
Yeah. But speaking of whispers, though, I this was the first time that I noticed this in the opening credits, in the opening title. I don't know if you guys probably also noticed this already, but there is some sort of whispering that happens there at the start of it all, and it is all so eerie. But I don't know. I'm gonna put this in my predictions later on that there's actually a clue there as to who's gonna win.
Okay, all right.
If you actually record that and it's slowed down.
All right. I'm gonna do that. That's my homework. That's my homework. I'm gonna see if I can do anything with that. With that sound.
But then again, it might just be some Fijian phrase, or even worse, so just some gibberish whispered by a lady.
I mean, it's probably that, but
But you never know, right? You never know.
We are, after all, part of the Survivor fandom. And if there's one thing that we know about the Survivor fandom, it's that we just overthink everything.
Yes, we do. We do.
And that's the beauty of it. That
is the beauty of it.
Freaking more than like the Marvel fandom. And the Marvel fandom is crazy already.
Every little thing. I mean, every little thing we nitpick and we find all of these different clues. Marts, you have something to say?
Yeah, it does remind me of Marvel fandom. So will this start the Civil War now, the arc, and then the next few episodes like the End Game, or like the Infinity War, and then the End Game. For the last few episodes of this season. But holy shit. Things we can talk about in one challenge, in one episode. This is so wild. I love it. I love it.
Just to talk about that. Oh, God.
And we're past the several minute mark. Jolinsky forever.
Just going back to that thought about Tim misplaying, if that was his play, right? I doubt it was. But again, giving the benefit of the doubt, we could have that as like perhaps his social game. This leads me to another high, which is there's the wrong way to play the social game. That is to say, what Tim has been doing. And there is the right way to play the social game, like my girl Kenzie.
Hell
yes.
Hell yes.
Yes.
Oh my God. She's so
I can wear this again.
Wait, which one?
The immunity
Oh,
necklace.
okay. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
I should wear the immunity necklace again.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, tell us about your thoughts about of Kenzie's play here, Joe.
Um, let me just read my notes. Kenzie helping out Ben in a game for $1 million. She's the one that's actually winning 1 million hearts.
Ooh,
Actually,
yes, more than he. Well, yeah, we can still name him Banu.
Yeah, more than Banu, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it was interesting to see that to see them sort of juxtaposed in Yanu, right? And if we kind of follow that if we follow that thread, you can see how Banu tried to win 1 million hearts and how Kenzie is winning 1 million hearts.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I will admit, Kenzie to me at first glance looked like she was a player, like
mm,
schmoozing and everything, but
yeah,
especially with this moment with Ben. I mean that she's got my heart. I mean,
yeah,
if she is trying to win 1 million hearts, she's got my heart with what she did and how she explained it. Like, her mom and her sister also deal with anxiety, and that's why she was good with it. She's able to do it. I mean, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Just goes to show. Just goes to show that that's her. That's gonna be her path to the million. Her human connections, right?
yeah,
Her
yeah,
ability to make human connections. That's such a nice thing to have, and even that speech at tribal, right?
mm,
Where she was like, she was sort of deflecting.
yeah,
She was sort of deflecting, saying that these guys literally carried me to the merge because they're the ones. Well, is that the same group? More or less, right? It
mm.
is the same group that she was with in or maybe
The
just
previous episode,
switch. Yeah,
yeah, sort
which
of, yeah.
one or two. I don't think Ben was with them.
Mm,
Or I don't. I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, her deflecting some of the because she won basically the first individual immunity challenge, right? And her deflecting all of that just goes to show that's her path to the million, making sure
yeah,
that everyone feels good, and the connections that she's made. And some will argue. I mean, I've seen. I think it was in No Buffs that Q also giving her flowers, right?
yeah.
Telling everyone like we need to give credit where credit is due, and they all applaud her. Some are saying that that's Q queuing something, like she's a threat.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're coming up with so many Q puns for this episode. I don't know why this is the first time we're doing this, but anyway, yeah. If we're going to be if we're going to be under that impression that Q is sincere about this, we see how those around her are also receiving the her behavior towards them, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
they're showing, yeah, they're basically telling Jeff, like, you know what, this girl's a winner, right?
Mhm. I mean, if we're looking at it as well from the point of view of production telling us the story of why Kenzie won, right? Because like that's one way to look at um how or that's one way to look at how a season of Survivor is edited, right? Like the the uh the the Reddit people,
Hmm.
the Edgic people, we'll
It's
call it like
sick.
the winners. Yeah, we'll
The
call it the
winners edit.
winners edit. Jeff Probst calls it like a who done it, right?
Mm-hmm.
They edit
Oh,
it sort of like a who done it. So
Yeah.
you have like little clues, you have red herrings coming in and all of that sort of thing. And so one way to like look at a season of Survivor is um sort of how this particular character ended up winning, right? Or how their path to victory went with all of the little clues and all of the little hints that were dropped off along the way, that were given to the viewers along the way. And we could read Q praising Kenzie as one of the things that they included to show that she is deserving of the win. Yeah, it's not only um it's not only the player themselves that gives themselves a pat on the back,
Mm.
but when other players start pointing to how well that person is playing, all of that sort of thing, then you have one of those sort of clues that has been kind of dropped, right? One of those breadcrumbs that's dropped that explains the eventual win. Um, and this is me justifying that because she is my canonical winner pick.
No, but I do think that Kenzie, especially in this episode, is getting such a good edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're really seeing how altruistic she is, how sincere she seems to be with Ben, and that lends to how it seems she really is very thankful for the help that the other guys gave her in the previous challenge, and the fact that Q brings it back to her. I mean, the fact that Q like commends her for it. You can say that that's like a signal to us, the audience, that you know what, even Q, one of the we can say that he's one of the biggest competitors right now. I mean, he's the one who's playing a lot right now, and then he
Mm,
gives her flowers. That's a sign of respect, sign of like if I'm gonna lose, I'd rather lose out to this girl, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Although I'm gonna say that there has been precedent for of a very non-obvious winner.
Yeah,
Looking at like my favorite winner of all time, Erica,
Erica.
and and your favorite
The
winner of the new era, Gabler,
the alley Gabler. Yeah.
the Ali Gabler, right? Like there has been precedent. So, there is a world where Liz wins this,
Oh, true. True.
right? Because she's playing that sort of Gabler-ish sort of game, kind of Erica-ish sort of game, like a very low-key kind of game. And that's something that a lot of the exit interviews, especially early on, have been pointing at, that she's playing that sort of game, the game where she just sort of lays low,
Hmm.
um, you know, just makes sure that she isn't perceived as a threat too early on, until like it's too late, and all of a sudden like she's there in the final three, and
Yeah, man.
they have no choice but to vote for her, right? So
Hmm.
so so there is a world where Mo wins it.
Mo. Okay. I'm like, even I was taken aback by that. I'm like, what? Yeah, Mo makes a comeback mid mid merge. Suddenly wears
because
eyeglasses
Liz
and like,
because
no.
Liz is
Liz,
Mo.
yeah, Liz takes off her eyeglasses and it's like, Mo, you've been here the entire time.
in one of the in one of the like challenges or whatever, she can't
Yeah.
jump, and Charlie is like, oh my god,
Oh my god.
Oh,
you were Mo the whole time.
hi. It was you.
Yeah. What about you, Marts? Any other highs you've got?
Oh well. Oh god. Well, it's a bit sad, but I like how the bro hug happened after Tim got voted out. So
Yeah.
yeah, he gave up for the hug, and then no,
um
I love that.
no,
It's a bit touching.
yeah, I I uh, I don't think, at least new era, the bar has been set really high
Yeah.
because of Cody and
Mm,
Ass
and
man
and
and
yeah,
Jesse,
and
and
Jesse.
Jesse, Cody and
Yes,
Jesse,
yes.
because the show showed us a lot more
Mm.
of their relationship, and so seeing that, like, you know handshake and hug was like, that was one of those things that kind of hit you right in the feels. But I can see, I can see why the one with Q and Tim is also um or Q. Why would I keep on saying Q? The one with
Ben
Tim and Ben,
and Ben.
because they were the closest, right? They were the
Yeah.
closest. If Tim is to be believed,
If Tim is to be believed, I mean, yeah.
right? Because what was it? It was like the reason he said Maria, right? That was in his exit press that
Mm.
the reason that he said that it was Maria was so that he could protect Ben. I don't see how that, if I squint really hard, I suppose I
Yeah.
can kind of make that out. But like I'm not sure that it that it will work out that way 99% of the time. You
Yeah,
know?
especially since that journey was so close to the merge, and you
Yeah.
Yeah.
know that you're probably gonna meet the other four, right? So it's very
Yeah.
important that you're truthful, because I mean that I'm sure that that weighed on Q's mind where the when he was trying to debate whether to take out Tim or Ben, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and Tim was being untruthful. Or at the very least, he didn't tell Maria right away about the plus one alliance. Which I, by the way, I got. We're getting ahead of ourselves, but I called it. The plus one alliance wasn't going to last long, and it didn't even get its first, like, they didn't get to flex their muscles at all because they never were in the same tribal together, right? So yeah, yeah, and
Well,
yeah,
one of my predictions. Let's
uh-huh.
save that for later.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I think that I can. Yeah. Anyway, yeah,
Go, go.
and see, I think that Tim was really still playing Sega strong this entire
Yeah.
time. A lot of people were saying that he was trying to plays both ways, like, plus one alliance, and then he also wanted to keep the Sega strong. But I think that in his heart of hearts, he really wanted the Sega strong more than the plus
Yeah.
one alliance. Yeah,
Yeah.
the vibe from the Vibe tribe was just too strong in order for the plus one alliance to take root. Right.
Yeah. That's something I really like about this particular episode. Another thing I really like about this episode. It's like they're giving, or it's like the producers are giving us a discussion, or giving us like a their thesis, not thesis. They're giving us a discussion on the merge, and like tribal alliances versus cross tribal alliances.
Mhm.
I'm sure they've done this like a million times before. But then it's just something that I noticed now. Um, a lot more, a lot more obviously, because of how much they mention staying tribe strong, and the juxtaposition against, or the juxtaposition with another alliance outside that crosses tribal lines, that actually has some sort of relevance in how it all plays out, right?
Mhm.
There's a little bit of relevance there, with the Exile Alliance. God, I'm watching. God. um,
Hey.
but with the plus one, or the Journey Alliance, or whatever,
Mhm.
like, it actually played into the vote. And so it's like that discussion on sort of, do we go with tribal lines, or is this a purely individual game? And Jeff asking that question. So this is like a discussion on that, you know.
Yeah.
That's quite,
That's
I like it. I like it when Survivor explores themes, which is why I kind of hate that they go with numbers now.
what do you mean they
46.
go? Oh,
Oh,
well, yeah.
well,
Just to
Yeah.
make it more. Well, anyway, Martin, we're gonna say something.
well, if they're stuck in Fiji, it's hard to keep on saying something.
But, I
Like,
was watching
mm,
the the Survivor Specialists
yeah.
with
Oh,
Phil and Will.
specialist.
Yeah, I really like them. I kind of miss Alexa though, 'cause, like, but yeah, Phil and Will, Survivor Specialists, they're really good. They had
Like
their
Philip Shepard?
predictions.
Philip Shepard?
No, 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 no.
Oh.
Uh, but yeah, I really like their analysis. Their analysis is really good. Their banter is great. Um, but they were talking to JD from 41, right? And JD proposed a theme, Survivor XYZ,
Oh.
where you have three tribes: Gen
We can
X,
do it now.
Millennials, and Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You can explore old favorites and sort of give them a little new era sort of twist, because now we have, Gen Z kids and us growing up when we saw like millennials versus Gen X. We're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
dude, we were millennials. We're millennials. So when we saw that, it was like these Gen X boomers are kind of out of touch. But then at the same time, it was kind of offensive because like there was a caricature of like millennial culture. But um, you could see a world where we explore some of the old themes. Like I'd like to see a Ghost Island sort of thing again, right? That'd be quite nice, because there were a lot of advantages that were never taken advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
and also not only like themes in terms of seasons, but themes within the episode and themes that we find interesting in Survivor. Themes like, you know winner a winner's edit, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
they can create, or they can create an episode that sort of looks at that kind of thematic element. Like with this one, um the tribal lines versus non-tribal lines individual game sort of thematic element. Do you go for the more strategic players, or do you go for the more physical players, and at which point in the game is it proper to go for that? You could explore that. You could explore all sorts of things, and I really love it when the producers, the editors do that, and when they make it clear,
Mm.
because there have
Yeah.
been times in the past where it was kind of like, I can see what they're kind of going for, but they're not quite hitting the mark. Like, I think with this episode, they managed to explore some of those themes, um, or explore thematic elements clearly. So that's just a general high.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, and even with the two tribals that we got for this episode, you sort of see how I don't know, there was a discussion sort of like, with one tribal it was pretty clear. It was clearer. Tim
Yeah,
was okay, Siga strong, and it was the, well, not anymore, the plus one alliance minus Tim.
yeah,
uh that really got it right. That really got their way. While on the other side, the discussion would have been: would Nami stay together? Right? Should
yeah,
Nami stay together? Right? They had like four of the remaining five, and then they got two other guys. So,
mhm,
but the result of that was different. I mean, the result was still the same, actually. So yeah, you do have that discussion, and we do see sort of, if it really was the point of the producers, we do see what they're saying, that. And I think with, like, you mentioned this already, with Jeff actually asking the question: is this already an individual game? Right? And yeah, with the results of both tribal lines, I think are sort of already gone. I mean,
yeah,
they were long gone earlier in Nami as compared to Siga, right?
yeah.
But yeah, I think the Siga lines are getting blurred more and more now.
Yeah, like that. I don't know. Even in the last episode, right? The thing that did her in.
Mm.
I was gonna say Liz. The thing that
Liz.
did the thing that did Mo in was um the whole Siga Strong thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. So that seems to be like one of the points that, that at least for this particular season, that they're discussing
Yeah.
as a show. Yeah.
But for all their dysfunction, the strong group that is sort of controlling this game are the Yanu 3. right? The remaining Yanu three, we always get the purple three, a purple trio in a very good power position come merge time. We've had that for the past couple of seasons, and yeah, I do see how Q, Kenzie, and Tiff are in such a good power position. Although they are starting to get that power position is starting to get rivaled by the green too.
Yeah, Charlie and
Maria.
Maria.
Yeah.
But then, like, I talked about this in our episode last week. You know, we might be a little bit premature talking about this as the merge per se, because like they actually haven't merged in,
Mm,
they've just done the one world thing. And even in this episode, right? They went to different beaches. So it's
yeah.
like, this
Yeah.
isn't quite a merge. It isn't quite mergatory, but then it isn't quite merge yet. So whatever is between like mergatory and merge, we should come up with a name for that.
Purgatory Tory?
Mergatory.
I don't know. What's
Uh,
what's what's in between purgatory and heaven? There's nothing. I mean,
There's
it's
Merge a limbo.
Merge limbo. I like
I
that.
don't know.
anyway. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, you're right. No, the decisions were technically still not made. Well, you can say the last tribal, the one that got Mo out, was merge, a merge decision. Although again, they weren't yet merged because the half that was unsafe were like not yet in the merged tribe. They didn't get
Yeah.
their name yet. They weren't Niu yet, or was it Nui Nui? What are they?
Nui Nui?
Nui?
Yeah.
Nui Nui?
Nui
I don't.
Nui. Nui.
Nui.
uh, we usually get that as a secret scene, right? Like how they got their tribe name.
Yeah,
But we didn't get that this time around, I don't think.
yeah. Or maybe
But
it's somewhere out there. We just haven't. They just CBS just haven't leaked it yet.
Oh yeah.
yeah. Apparently it means hope.
Oh,
Nui Nui. Yeah. At least according
nice.
to like the Survivor Wiki or somebody on Reddit.
Mm.
And it feels like it, like seeing like Fijian videos and stuff. They seem to be talking about hopeful stuff when the word Nui Nui seems to come out.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
apparently it means hope. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice.
Here's another high.
Mm.
Tevin versus Venus and how Soda being voted out. And this is I'm really sad for Soda. But then
Uh-huh.
again, this is like a production high because Soda being voted out was in service of the story of Tevin versus Venus. I find it really cool when Survivor does stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like
And it's
sorry,
so
Bechdel test, whatever, but
it's so coincidental that I mean you really, I mean, this isn't scripted. So for it to happen at that certain point, and them to have the footage to back up the Tevin versus Venus story, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So and they were, and even with the Banu bloat in the pre-merge,
Oh yeah.
like
Mm.
they were still able to give us the Tevin versus Venus thing in sort of little bits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, I'm sure we all felt it, but we didn't quite articulate the feeling that this was going to play out a lot as something that's quite a bit more important in, the merger limbo or merger ascension um portion of the game. But yeah, like again, kudos to them, no? That while telling a big story about Banu, they still managed to give us what we need to know for um this point moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that
Credit
it's
to the
that
two
they're gonna
hours.
pay it off? Yeah.
Oh.
Do you think it's gonna pay off in the next episode? Especially with
Um,
that ominous. I've never seen anything like this happen from Jeff on the what's it on the next time on.
I have that as a question for our predictions.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
have I haven't really thought about it very deeply, but let's keep that in the back of my
Let's
mind
keep a
because
pin. Yeah, let's keep a
yeah.
pin. Let's put a pin on it. Yeah, I mean, but going back to the whole Venus versus Devin versus Venus thing, um, I'm sure that us as the viewers, we know that we can attribute it to Tevin, but in the world of the castaways in on the island, would Venus would the fact that Tevin even voted for Venus make it look like he didn't know the plan?
Yeah, no, because I don't know, he only told us in confessional that he wanted to be the architect of the first blindside.
Yeah,
Hmm. I mean, he
I
did
think
do
he
the
told
right thing.
Liz. I think he
Yeah,
told Liz though that
yeah,
this can be a blind side or something,
Oh
or
yeah.
Charlie or whoever that was.
yeah.
Yeah,
He did do the right thing by putting, like, we can agree, right? He did the
yeah,
right thing by putting Venus's name down, right? Just
Yep.
yeah.
throwing a stray vote, Romeo style.
Mm-hmm.
Romeo.
Yeah, but yeah, no? The other thing is, how do you think the jury would react to that? Like, because juries are weird. Uh,
Um,
like, if 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 that move is attributed to Venus,
Mm-hmm.
is that something that the jury is going to appreciate? Or
mm,
is the mayor of Ponderosa going to be bitter about
Soda.
it?
So
Mm, yeah.
Right? Because
Although,
that could be the thing
yeah.
that gets Soda's vote for Tevin,
oh yeah.
Mm,
right? If it comes down to Venus versus Tevin, it can go one of two ways for Soda's vote. It could be like, you know, Venus, great move, or Venus, I
I
hate you,
don't like you.
mhm,
right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Although
So
I do think that they have been hiding because Steven alludes to it, right? They've been hiding the conversations, more conversations that Soda and Venus have had.
yeah,
Tevin alludes to it, like something happens and then you've got Soda and Venus walking off, talking to each other, right?
yeah,
So I think that there have been more conversations between Soda and Venus to the point that again we keep on going back to the Cody and Jesse thing because that's like at least for the new era, that's like the standard for like two people who have been like really tight. That this betrayal of sorts by Venus
mhm,
of Soda should rival that kind of a relationship, right? That kind of a blind side from your closest ally, just the same way as how uh, Ben and Tim's separation was sort of like that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
And no,
yeah.
no. Again, kudos to Survivor production. This was all set up.
Mm,
Not only the Venus versus Tevin thing, but also the Venus and Tevin wanting to
Mhm.
get Soda out has been set up. It was very clear with Venus,
mm-hmm,
but then in the earlier episodes, something that we thought wasn't going to go anywhere, the whole Soda gotta go to thing, like it paid off here.
mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Paid off really well, and not just the two of them. I mean, also Lismo apparently also wanted to get Soda out for the longest time, right?
yeah,
Liz
Yes.
or
yeah.
Mo?
Yeah. Let's
So
just put
which
them together,
which
Lismo.
Mm.
which begs the question:
Who's
who's your
yours?
canonical winner pick?
Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, if as a viewer, I think that it's got to be Tevin, because we were shown that he did orchestrate the thing. He was the one who talked
Yeah.
with everyone, minus
Yep.
Venus. He was the one who talked with everyone to take out Soda.
The blinds.
It just so happened that
Mhm.
Venus also thought the same way, right?
Yeah, and we were. I'm sure. I'm also sure. No, she did go on like a campaign where she was like, yo, we got to get rid of soda. But here's
Yeah.
another weird convoluted plan.
Yeah.
You can go for that weird convoluted plan, or we could go for the easy plan, soda, which is a valid thing, right? Like if you want to get somebody to choose a certain thing, you
Mm,
can make that one simple, and you can make the other thing tremendously complicated.
hmm.
That way, the simple thing, by comparison, becomes more desirable.
True.
Like I don't want to have
True.
to think about that. Let's just go for the simple, like or maybe I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt. I keep on giving survivors the benefit of the doubt, but but I'm sure she went on a smear campaign as well. But we
Hmm.
were shown Tevin is what you're saying, no?
Yeah, he was the one who was like really pulling the strings. I mean, at most, Venus spoke with Liz and Charlie, and she didn't even talk to Maria about this. Despite the fact that they had like in on the episode, two encounters with each other, and not one of
Mm.
those was her talking to Maria about taking soda out, right?
That we know of. That we know of.
That we
That we
know
know
of.
Yeah,
of.
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, but yeah, that's also our truth, basically. The truth that's presented to us is that she
Yeah.
didn't talk to Maria either. And then but also it's also supported by the idea that she had to ask Charlie to try and bring in Maria into the plan. Right? Charlie was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I think I can get Maria into this, but I'm not quite sure. Right?
God,
Uh
Charlie is so good.
they're both so good. Maria and Charlie are so good at playing
Guys.
that non-committal game.
Yeah.
That was, I mean, they are so good at. And I
Yep.
even have here in my notes. You said that Liz is playing a Gabler game. I think the two of them are playing a very good Gabler
Yeah.
game.
Yeah. Yeah. The way like the way Q the way Charlie talked to Q after he told Venus that
Mm-hmm.
he was the one that put her name down. Like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my
Like,
bad. It's my bad. Cut straight to confessional. Got to get Q out.
I mean, yeah, Q, especially in the next time on, he says that he's a was it mobster? But I think those two are the real mobsters, man. Those
Yeah.
two are the real mobsters. They smile at you. They are all caring and stuff, but they're just Swifties and whatever. But deep down inside, they're cutthroat. I mean,
Yeah.
I will use the word. You juxtapose that with Venus, who is cutthroat, but she's upfront about it. And I think that
Yeah.
that's something that we're gonna see more as well, just in case Venus doesn't get voted out anytime soon. But yeah, I think we're
Yeah.
gonna see that. Like, you got this example of Maria and Charlie playing behind the scenes, controlling everything, cutthroat, but behind the scenes, and you've got Venus, who's cutthroat, but she's up front about it. Who is going to succeed, right?
Yeah. So like on that side you have Venus and Q, and then you have
Yes.
Maria and Charlie. Right? In the same way that again tying it back to my canonical winner pick, in the same way that Kenzie is winning a million hearts by being kind, and
Mm,
Banu is saying that he's being kind. At least the
mm,
show is showing us that Kenzie is being kind while Banu is telling us about kindness, which
mm.
are two very different things.
Yeah. Now, who
So
actually
like
does, right?
yeah. So like you have the cutthroat mafia boss saying that they're the cutthroat mafia boss, and then you have the actual people doing the throat cutting.
Mm-hmm.
You have uh
mhm.
a young lady of Iranian descent with a bad case of big movitis,
Mm,
and you have people making big moves. you know?
that's right. That's right. And Q also. I mean, he's sort of on the verge of like he wants to make big moves every
Yeah.
so often. I mean, every episode you sort of see it from him. To the
Yeah.
point that he says he's throwing challenges.
But what's so
Yeah.
funny is like Venus and Q keep on talking a big game, but then they always end up like falling in line with everybody else, which is sort of a good thing, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like they still end up on the like Venus has always ended up on the right side of the vote. even though she initially has like this idea of, hey, let's get out Charlie, but then at the end of the episode, she's on the right side of the vote. She says, hey, let's get out Q, but then at the end of the episode, she's on the right side of the
Mhm.
vote. That's that could be good, could be bad, but yeah. um Venus,
Mhm.
she's in a great spot if she can just get out of her own way.
Yeah, she well, and she's not in a lot of conversations as we
Exactly.
saw in that moment where she was left in
Excuse
camp.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking about it, right? If we still go by tribal lines, which the show is obviously telling us that we're probably not going to be
Mhm.
going along
Mhm.
tribal lines moving forward, we're in a situation where we have Charlie, Ben, and Maria, Q, Tiff, and Kenzie, Hunter, Tevin, and
Liz.
Liz, and then you have
Yeah,
Venus.
Venus.
Oh my god. She's the swing, swing, swing vote.
Yeah,
She might just
yeah,
fall into a position of huge power, right?
right.
Uh,
Yeah.
Because like if they keep on going with the whole tribal thing, it's basically a 3-3-3 split and the ultimate free agent.
Hmm. Yeah. She might just fall in. I mean, uh, what's the saying? Uh, succeed. Falling into success. So she might just go into that, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
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 Always on the back.
Uh,
But just a little bit of a high. I loved Soda's exit. It was
Yes.
weird for me the way that she handled her exit. She was crying, but she was laughing. That I mean, you could feel how cathartic it must have been for her, right?
yeah.
That whole moment, like what I thought this was going one way, and all of a sudden, blindside. I mean, she got the person wrong. I mean, she thought it was Venus, but yeah, I think that I just loved how that happened. And she took her time getting to Jeff. Only thing missing there was her like hugging Jeff or something,
Which Maria
Uh,
got to do.
yeah.
which Maria got to do. Uh, yeah, so that exit was really really nice to me. Yeah.
Yeah, something that struck me about her exit, and this was her final words.
Mm.
Uh, the way she said, "I got to live in my favorite TV show."
Mm.
Like, as somebody that grew up watching a little too much TV, it was something that I had thought of. Like, what would it have been to, or what would it be to, talk to like Sam Malone, to talk to Woody, and
Mm.
like hang out in Cheers and yell Norm, right? What would it be like to
Mm.
live
No.
in that world? What would it be like, running around like Korea with like Hawkeye, in MASH? What would it be like to talk to that weird robot girl from Small Wonder? Like,
Mhm.
you know, it's something that I'm sure anybody that has watched a little too much TV in the 80s and 90s growing up thought about. Like, what would it be like to live in the Andy Griffith Show, that sort of thing, and to have it articulated like that, and at the same time to have it be something that is attainable
Mm.
for somebody that can apply it to Survivor, right? That's what makes it kind of special, right? Because
Mhm.
you don't have to sit around and imagine what it would be like to live in your favorite TV show.
Yeah.
Because as Jeff keeps on reminding us after commercial breaks, when he's talking to the kids, like, in straight at the camera, like, you can do it,
Mhm.
you know you can be in your favorite TV show, you can live in that world. And it's the one of the shows that does that, living in a different world that's sort of on TV really well.
Mhm.
The other one that I can think of like that is The Traders, but then, Survivor, I think, is, Survivor feels more other than Big Brother, for example.
Mm.
It feels more other than, say, something like The Mole, which is sort of like a competition show, right? Survivor feels like, weirdly enough, it feels like scripted TV. You know what I mean?
It feels
Like,
the
because of
least. It feels the least like an actual competition or game show, right?
yeah, yeah, and I think that's why I like it so much,
Yeah,
right? Because
because
like
in the end,
the
it's
way they
still a
put it
game.
together.
Yeah, it's still a game, but the way, yeah, you're right. The way that they put it together, it and for these people to be able to live that'd be cool. So,
Yeah.
with that being said, if they do come up with a new Survivor, a Philippine Survivor, are you applying?
Hell no.
No, you can do it, Joel.
I I'm a fan of the show, not the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
Continuing to gush, this is something that I just like thought of, right? With shows like Big Brother, because it's Survivor and Big Brother that are the two sort of titans of the
Mhm.
genre. Um,
Hey,
you
what about
have
Amazing Race?
yeah, all right, fine. The Amazing Race. The Amazing Race, I feel, is more like Big Brother in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that, right? In that, you are given, you can look at it as a scientist would,
Mm.
whereas Survivor feels more like something that is the product of art,
Hmm.
Oh.
right? Because like Big Brother and The Amazing Race, they lay it out as it is,
Oh yeah.
and they don't tell stories;
Mm.
they present facts. Right? Survivor, they take the time to tell stories. That's why I love the show.
Yeah. Anyway, going back, was that your original point? Or
Yeah, I guess.
uh, Venus is in the middle. She'd be in a great spot if she just got out of her own way.
yeah, if she got out of her own way, either that or well, I'll talk about it later. Yeah. Any other highs, guys?
I think
Um,
for me, Joe.
the fact that they had the balls to call it episode several. It's very
Mm.
rare. It's very rare that they um create that they have the episode title not be something that one of them said, right? Like
Well,
the it used to be the case, right? Like they
no,
used to
no.
call it the
I mean,
merge and all
no,
that.
no, no. I mean, technically, it was said by someone in the episode. Jeff
Yeah,
said it.
but it wasn't
He
you
didn't
know
say episode 7.
Mm.
yeah. They could have called it several minutes or something, right?
Yeah.
But then yeah, episode several. It's quite it's quite uncommon, especially now,
Mm.
right? Like I remember back in the day, right? The merge episode of the first Survivor episode of the first Survivor season was called The Merge or something like
Mm.
that, which is but yeah, it's nice. It was nice. Uh, something different. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes having something different, whether or not it's good, feels good.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you've got someone who's like legendary, you gotta use his catchphrase.
Yeah.
Zelensky.
That's gonna be
This,
he's gonna be known as Mr. Several from now on.
I've been something that I've been noticing a lot more in Survivor, and well, in like TV and movies and all of that stuff is when stuff is like ADR'd in,
Mm.
or when sounds come from off screen,
Yeah.
and like it was when they mentioned Jelinski, somebody said legendary.
Yeah. We don't quite
Yeah,
know who that is, but it was probably ADR'd in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that bothered me
Mm.
talking about that um was after or when Kenzie won the when Kenzie won the immunity challenge for the orange side, right? It was whoever it was that went in before her
If.
Tiff. Tiff falls in, and then Kenzie falls in, and then you hear somebody say yeah or yeah, yes or something. And the way it was cut together, it was supposed to feel like something that Kenzie would have said. But then she was
Oh.
underwater when they said yeah, yay, or yeah, or whatever. I mean, it was probably like Soda or somebody, Soda from the bench saying yay because they won
the food.
the reward, right?
Yeah.
But after Jeff says Kenzie wins immunity, and you hear somebody say yes, like that was all of the codes and conventions of like the moving picture tells us that should be Kenzie saying that, but she was underwater.
Especially since we do not get someone actually, we do not see someone. We don't get to see Soda saying, right?
Yeah. So just for the people that are listening in the fourth chair, I'm gonna steal that from the No Numb Questions podcast. They call the listeners people on the third chair. So for like the people on the fourth chair, this is how I like an episode a lot. When I start having lows that are like just nitpicks.
Nitpicks. Nitpicks. Oh, speaking of nitpick, uh for some reason, this is a nitpick for me. For some reason, this season's final 12 tribals were not as compelling as the previous seasons. Previous seasons, the stakes were, I mean, you had that whole with what's her name? Uh are they still together? Matthew and Matt and
Franny?
Franny. Anyway,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that tribal,
Yeah,
it
they
was
moved
also
in
in the final
together.
12.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So that was also final 12, right? When
Yes.
Matt got voted
I
out.
think so.
So the stakes were higher then. And we've had sort of the final 12, we always criticize it because a lot of the players that we like get voted out during the final 12, and we say it sucks because they're split into two, so the pool is so much smaller. You only get to vote for one of five people, and sometimes it ends up that one of our favored castaways get voted out. But
Yeah.
this time around, I don't know. It didn't seem as compelling, or the stakes probably for me weren't as high as in previous seasons. Yeah, so that's actually my lowest low. Yeah. What
Because
about you, Mars?
the people that won the immunity would have been safe anyway.
Yeah. Well, for me,
Feels
it's
like,
just
well, I don't know.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Kenzie was in a good position. Maria is in a very good position. Yeah, probably. Probably there wasn't much. The only question there was really who was gonna win it for purple.
Yeah.
Was it gonna be Tevin or Maria?
Yeah. Which, and they were both in such a good position.
Yeah.
And the obvious vote on the orange side of things was Hunter, but he had an idol.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It really wasn't as, it didn't feel as if like any of the people that maybe I probably none of, probably also because none of the people that I favored were in such a precarious position compared to previous seasons.
But your canonical winner pick was voted out.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know
Like
why.
if for whatever reason Kenzie, by some stupid twist that Jeff decides to put in, like that freaking Monty Hall problem thing, if she gets eliminated by something like that, that I'm gonna be heartbroken.
Oh gosh.
Because that would make Jeff my canonical winner pick.
Technically, you'll never lose. You just won.
Forever. You'll win forever because he'll be in
your
it
winner
forever.
pick.
Or that might be the ultimate loss. I don't know.
Or yeah, so I guess that even points to how much less compelling it is for me, because even though my winner pick got voted out, I didn't feel the weight of the two tribals. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know why. Yeah. Anyway, Anyway, I just wanted to get it out there. Marts, what's your low?
Well, we're just nitpicking, so I have no low except one. But I think Jao alluded to that, like at the start of the episode. Jeff did say several minutes in. The elapsed time should have just said several minutes as well. At the
Yeah.
lower,
The lower third.
Oh,
the
did
lower
it?
third.
Did it?
No, it should
Oh,
have
I
though.
didn't
No,
know.
it should have.
Oh,
It should have said
oh,
several
oh.
minutes elapsed. Like the Chiron, the lower
Yeah.
third game of production in this particular episode is off.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
they've done much cooler things with much less, you know.
And
Yeah.
this would have been like they could have even put a pip shot of like Jelinski for some reason on top of the several. but yeah, basically that's I have technically zero lows, but that's it. That's it.
Hmm.
All right. Would
Yeah.
have been fun.
What would have been fun?
As I said, like if they could have just
Oh, if
went
they
out
put
with it,
the
like,
yeah.
then go balls out. But
Yeah.
uh,
Like they did with Owen, right? When
Yeah.
Owen alluded to the lower third and they messed with the lower third when what was it? Former federal agent question mark. Like
yeah, like Philip.
or what was her name? The lady that they gave her like a different
Yeah.
profession every time.
What's her name? Debbie.
Debe.
It's
Yeah.
like, as a former model, like as a as a former firefighter,
as a former pilot.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with this. Yeah, they could have done something like that, but
Probably it was probably the lower Chiron the Chiron the lower Chiron's guys week off or something.
yeah. Mm.
Yeah. Anyway, for me, I do think that we've been talking about her a lot, but it's sad for me that Venus just has an inability to recognize the situation. Uh, you have something to say about that, Max?
Well, she is kind of younger than the others, and I think that's I think I remember that's like what rubbed Maria the wrong way when she was like going at Maria,
Mm.
when she doesn't see that as coming at Maria, or like semi like, hey, you gotta follow this or else, it kind of comes with age. Like, I'm sorry if I'm being ageist for Venus, but maybe she'll look back at it and say, yeah, maybe that was stupid of me.
Mm. Yeah, but yeah, it is. Is it something that comes with age? Yeah, that's something that can be up for discussion.
Because
Yeah,
God knows that I know people in their like 40s and 50s that are not the least bit reflective.
yeah, and we've seen that in previous seasons in Survivor. Like
Yeah.
I can't think of anyone in particular, but yeah, you've seen people like that who don't quite understand the situation or the circumstance, and they just have this idea in their minds and they go for it, but not really being able to suss out how it can be done more effectively, right?
And
Uh,
I might even argue the opposite, that um you'd be harder pressed to find an old person be adaptable,
mm,
because my experience with old people is that they tend to be a lot more, and I use conservative as being like set in their ways.
Oh yeah, because they're used to
Like,
being like this and that, so they can't.
yeah, this is
Yeah, that's
how
true. That's true.
things ought to be done. Whereas
Mm.
mhm,
like the younger people are a little bit more flexible. There's a little bit more plasticity in their personality as well.
mhm.
So there's that. So it could go either way.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just something with Venus. I mean, I she does seem to me to be someone with a chip on her shoulder.
Mm.
Yeah.
She has something to prove, And we've also sort of seen that in some of her previous confessionals. And yeah, it's a little disheartening that she's letting it take over her game. Like what you said, Joe. She can do really well if she just gets out of her own way. She gets in her own way because of the things that she thinks she needs to prove. It's the things she needs to do, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, because of everything, because of all of the blinders, she's not able to suss out what the real deal is. Similarly, Q is also something like that,
Yeah.
right?
I can see
Q
that.
also
Yeah.
has
Oh.
something to prove.
Yeah. Because he's only the second best. What's it? He's only the
Real
second
estate,
best broker.
realtor. Yeah,
He's a realist.
yeah.
And because he fumbled that one time in high school. Huh?
Fumbled that one time. I wonder if Hunter ever heard of that fumble because they're both from Mississippi, right?
Mhm.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
I
it,
don't
it
know.
was something that was
It's
alluded to
age.
in Tim's exit interviews, like whether he knew that Hunter and Q were both from Mississippi, and that meant
Yeah.
that it would have been harder for Q to vote Hunter out because he said so. I think Q said so in the pregame press. He said that he knows that there's someone else from Mississippi and he wanted to work with that person.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wonder if Hunter knows that was that guy who fumbled that one touchdown pass or whatever. Yeah,
Yeah. They're roughly the same age. So
yeah,
they might have seen it like in, they might have talked about it in like their high school, like, hey, you hear about that guy who
yeah.
fumbled,
Made the news,
made the news.
front page. I don't know. I don't know how
Uh,
big Mississippi is, and if that's even possible. I mean, their states aren't as small as our provinces. I'm assuming.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a good headcanon to have though. Let's just say.
Mm. Let's see if they talk about it in future episodes.
Let
Uh,
me.
yeah. Any other lows, guys?
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah,
To
no.
French cap.
What's a French cap?
Um. Oh, why is it in California? Anyway, never mind. I was trying to see how far away their hometowns are.
Whoa.
Anyway, yeah, I wasn't able to do that on the fly. Uh, my low, because apparently there's a place called French Camp in California. Um,
Okay.
and Q is from the French Camp, Mississippi. Anyway, low.
Oh, gets.
My my lowest of the low.
Mm.
Sorry for the foul language. A fucking immunity necklace. Fucking fucking geckos.
But at
And
least the geckos made its way
fuck,
into the show
but yeah, fuck
again.
geckos though.
Yeah, weren't you guys
Those,
complaining about it not being there?
I mean, it's fine when it's cartoonishly large, but when it's like the actual size, like those fuckers can move at a meter a second. That shit's scary, man. And when they start making noise and you hear it reverberate through your house,
Hmm.
holy shit. So like fuck geckos.
Who knows? All of a sudden, it's gonna move in the dark
Good
because
God.
that is where they.
Yeah.
Good God. Mm.
That really affected you, huh?
There was one time there was one time during the pandemic, right? I was doing like an online class or whatever. And I saw a little bit of, I heard a little like rustling behind, or I heard a little bit of rustling over by the window, and then I saw like the tail of a gecko
Mm-hmm.
like there. It was like, oh my God. And my students noticed that there was something visibly off about their teacher that day. Fuck geckos. There was one in the house last night, but yeah, it was just there with its fucking oogly eyes, like
Uh-huh.
staring at me from like on a window, those glass windows. Those
So I
things can
guess
move at a meter per second.
I know. So I guess you're not gonna like cover a part of the screen whenever like they give out the immunity necklaces. You know, like I have
Three
a
of
friend.
them.
Yeah,
Bro, there's three of them on the necklace.
I have a
Is it
friend
three
who
lang ba?
like whenever he's like watching a horror movie, he like covers like the screen so that he doesn't get scared. I don't know.
You just have to look away at horror movies, but
Yeah,
fucking geckos, man.
but at least I mean it wasn't it. We don't see it in tribal. At least this way we get to see it every episode.
Uh,
In tribal, there's like a little silhouette there, of like three geckos. There's like a little painting there
Hmm. They should
somewhere.
they should
Back.
they should have like added like every so often the cast during tribal they'd hear a gecko make a sound.
Here in the background.
Yeah. And they'd be like,
Oh god.
"Oh, so that's why we've got it in whatever we had that big whatever." Yeah,
What are
yeah,
they, is it in Tagalog, tuko also?
yeah,
yeah.
I
It is
think
tuko
so. Yeah.
in Tagalog.
Tuko.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. So anyway, yeah, you really
At
get
least we don't have cockroaches in the house. That's
yeah,
good to know.
yes, because that's what they go after. Yeah. Any other lows?
No, I don't think
Yeah.
we can go any lower.
Yeah.
Maybe no, maybe if they had cockroaches on like another if they had cockroaches on like another season as part of their
Uh-huh.
logo. But no.
It it's like it's no longer an immunity necklace, it's an immunity helmet. And then it's got like a cockroach like right there.
Oh god.
Anyway. Uh yeah, I've got some questions here that I have. We did notice that this is neither high nor low, so I just wanted to get your thoughts on these. Um in what was that 42 when they did that same challenge that like what Jeff said, it lasted all of 3 minutes.
Mm.
But for this season it lasted more than several minutes. But one thing that I noticed though, why do you think they immediately went to the second stage? They didn't use the bottom rung, bottom step, right?
Because yeah, I noticed that as well. Um either they just totally cut it out of the show.
Mm.
Again, they could have just 80 they could have just cut it with they could have cut the second rung with Jeff's instructions or whatever from the beginning, like, and it's on 3 2 1, and then you know they just cut directly to the second rung
Oh,
again, because
true.
you can just cut out all of Martin looks confused. You can use the audio from an earlier clip
Mm-hmm.
and the video from a later clip,
And
combine
then
them
make it
together
seem it's
and
the
make it
same.
seem like
There you go.
Jeff
It happened
is
at the same
talking
time.
about, yeah,
Now I
yeah,
understand.
yeah,
Because Jeff is off screen during that time.
Yeah.
yeah, where he
Makes
says,
sense.
and everybody get in your positions or whatever, and this
Yeah.
challenge is on, right?
Oh.
It's either he's off screen or he's there, or he's the only one on screen. That could have
Yeah.
been shot like a month later for all we know.
True.
So it's either that, or they realized it would be completely useless because the water was so calm.
Yeah, yeah. It would be,
Unlike
especially when he said that they've been on it for several minutes. Yes, they were still on the first, and they were on that second round. Yeah, you're right. It must have been the movie magic.
Yeah, it was either movie magic, or when they were testing it out, they were like, "Yo, Jeff, this is too easy." it's the water is too calm.
Mhm.
So when you yell, bring in the boats, we're not going to have them, go for that first rung anymore.
Mm. Yeah.
Whichever, because they were like, Jeff, I know that you never want to have another situation where you have to wait for like 12 hours.
Oh dear God.
Which was the one with Tom, right? That was it.
Yep.
The one where they were just standing on a pole or something. Oh, was that
Yeah.
it?
There
They
was
were holding
It
on.
was
Yeah.
there were
right?
No, no, no. The one where they were like,
Yeah.
weren't
It
they
was 12
standing on the
hours.
pole?
No, they were.
Where Jeff wanted to change the rule, and then Tom was like, "You can't change the rules mid game,
Yeah.
or it's a lawsuit, right, or something like that." Were they holding on to the pole? Weren't they just standing on it?
So I remember Ian willingly.
they were holding
Yeah.
They
they
were
were hanging
holding.
on.
Yeah. They were holding
Oh,
on.
okay.
Yeah, they were hanging on to it for dear life.
Mm.
Ian
But
stepping.
but it was taking so long. What did Jeff want to do? He wanted them to let go of one hand,
I have no idea.
right?
Let's look at the trivia here, if there's anything.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the same thing, the challenge. Do you think that they would have been allowed to lower their base before the leg race portion of the challenge? Because if you lower your base, it's harder for you to like get knocked over, right? Because your center of gravity is lower, right? What if
Yeah, but then
they straddled it closer? They straddled the thing closer.
I'm pretty sure that would have been possible, but that hurts.
Ah, yeah, that hurts the core.
Squats, man, squats.
True, true.
Like
Yeah.
when we were playing futsal and we had to do that for like that was some of the worst pain that I've ever had to go through in my college life. More painful than any heartbreak was having to do squats for futsal.
Uh,
Oh, and
Yeah.
the one last question I
yeah,
want to
yeah,
get
yeah.
your thoughts on. How do you think Ben knew that Kenzie woke him up at 1 a.m.? Because he said so in a confession, or I think during tribal or something, or in a confessional. And how did he know that he was panicking for 50 seconds? Does he have a clock? Does he have a
That reminds me.
watch?
That reminds me of this one time that we were having like lunch at a restaurant.
Okay.
At one of those like big sort of family
Restaurant.
buffet
Yeah.
style restaurants, like Dad's or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like here in you know how they have like those musicians that walk
Oh.
around and violate intellectual property law by singing popular songs,
Yeah.
with all of their guitars and stuff. And the gimmick for that was a bunch of blind musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And blind
Okay.
musicians can be amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what I noticed was they all had watches.
Oh,
I was like,
how would they?
what does a blind man need a watch for? I was like 5 or 6 years old. What does a blind man need a watch for?
He'll show it to someone else. Can you tell me the time?
Can you tell me the time? Yeah.
What's up?
Actually.
It was
What's up?
What's up?
What's up, man?
Well,
What's up?
and
What's up?
they were digital watches, and it made sense to me eventually when they put it up against their ear, and it was like, oh,
Ah.
it's a
It
watch
tells the
that
time.
tells the
Okay.
time, right?
Mm.
Okay.
It's like, what does a blind man need a watch for? Sorry, that was just the image that came to mind when you brought that up.
Right? I mean,
Maybe these
how
are
would Ben?
questions that they can legally ask production, if you know what I mean. Hey, so what time is it when I
Ah.
woke up? Because technically he can say this was a medical emergency because it's a mental health problem.
Yeah,
In case,
yeah,
Ah.
could be,
True.
they
True.
could
can
True.
be.
use it as a loophole. They can use it.
Yeah. Just to
Yeah.
make
They pulled out strings.
just to make it clear, I first
Yeah.
heard this on No Buffs, and then when I made the rewatch, I also noticed it. Yeah, I think it was Skeets who pointed it out. How did Ben know that it was that he was panicking for 50 seconds?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, you're right. You're right. It might be
I think
one of
they
the
should.
questions that they
Yeah,
can ask
because
production.
it's technically like a a medical health thing. So,
Yeah.
Mm.
Or
oh shit, how was I out? How long was I out? And then the next question would have been from products and like, do you need survivor medical to check on you?
yeah.
No, I've got
That
Kenzie
would
by
have
my
been the
side.
next protocol. See, so like he could have said, no, no, I'm good. So,
Mm.
I have a feeling that's what happened behind the camera.
Anyway, Zhao, you were saying
Yeah,
or?
yeah.
Or it could be suffer from a panic attack, right? Calm down. Count backwards from 60.
True.
Oh, okay, yeah.
True.
Count backwards from a minute. And then once he reaches like 10 seconds, he starts feeling better.
Yeah.
Like, so I know it's been 50 seconds.
Yeah. I thought you were gonna
Martin's
say, yeah, Martin's is more plausible. Yeah. Or I was gonna say, or Ken
Or
is just so good at juxtaposing where the position of the moon with the
holy
shore
shit! What
that
the
he knows
hell?
it's 1 a.m. He's been observing what 1 a.m. in the Fijian sky looks like, much so that when he woke up at that time, it's 1 a.m. Right? Yeah, but then again, Martin's Martin's explanation is so much more plausible.
my uncle has a beach house, right? And they
Mhm.
have this
Yeah.
really awesome they have this really awesome like deck that overlooks the ocean. And it is facing the east, so you get to see the moon rise, right?
Mm.
So you get to see the moon come out of on a very clear night, and sometimes you can get to see like the moon rise up from behind the horizon and stuff. And what it was something that I really wanted to do was take like a knife and like mark one of the poles to see like what time the moon
Mhm.
goes up, just so I could make like a sort of sundial or a moon dial kind of thing.
Mm. How'd it go?
So um I remember it somewhere like looking at it from a certain angle, and then like a month later or something it was rising from a
It,
different angle, and I was like, this is kind of useless.
What?
yeah, because that does happen, right? I mean, the moon rises in a different space every time.
Okay, kind of useless, but hey, it was a nice thought.
Okay, so yeah, those were my other thoughts. Let's go ahead to our
But so that
predictions.
means
Oh,
we need, but since we're in the question slash thoughts
yeah,
part,
yeah, yeah.
we still have to ask the one big question for the Council of Titos. Who is your canonical winner pick?
Oh, who is my
Actually,
canonical
who
winner pick?
is?
I will now go with Devin. I think after a lot of
Yeah, good.
thought,
Yeah, yeah.
as because as a viewer, yeah, he is the one who orchestrated the blindside for me. All right.
All right.
And also because I don't think that Venus is gonna be in the game for too long.
I was
And then
No,
gonna
it
no,
happens
no,
that
no,
say
no, no. Venus is on the highway to be a zero vote finalist. That's the
mm,
other. That's the other.
that's the other
That's
way.
the other option there. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I've got Devin. Uh, as you said in our group chat, thespian representation. Uh,
yep.
Yeah.
yep. Yeah, we've
Thespians
got that.
represent.
Yep. There you go. So yeah, I get that's the answer to that question. Let's go ahead to our predictions. Whose line is it actually? Several, yes, as you mentioned, Zhao. Nobody actually said episode several, although Probes did say several. But yeah, we can't
Wait,
really attribute it completely to him.
did any one of us said at least Jeff would say it? Not yet. Not
No,
really.
none.
No.
None
No.
of us said
Okay.
that
Nobody.
Jeff would say it.
Okay,
Yeah,
just checking.
yeah,
Yeah, but then technically Jeff didn't say it, so
Yeah.
yeah,
You just said several minutes have passed.
yeah. So
yeah.
I'm
No,
gonna
he
give
didn't say the
myself the
title. Yeah. He
Yeah.
didn't say episode seven. Yeah. Anyway,
yep. So
go.
I'm gonna be giving myself the easy points there. Like I said this last week, right? This is going to be just a bunch of easy points.
Yep.
Mm.
The second person voted out is the first juror, because that's what we've
Hmm.
seen before. Easy point. Um, where are we? The the season picks up. Okay, I'll give myself a point for that.
Yes, yes, yes. I think that we can say that the season has picked up with this episode.
Revenge arc for Venus, no.
Nope.
No,
Q gets put in the line of fire very briefly, not even close,
not even close. Yeah.
because he's overplaying. That was my reasoning for it. He is overplaying,
He is
but
overplaying, but
he's not
that
in the
hasn't
line of fire
resulted in
because
him. Yeah.
there. Uh, let's see, what else do we have here? Joel,
Jelinski's
Jelinski
gonna make.
appearance, and he gets the line. Um, the Journey 6 falls apart because of
Yeah.
Tim. Yeah, you get the point for that. Even though it was because of Tim, not because Tim gets voted out. But we'll give
Yeah.
you the point. Because it's the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
Martin, Jelinski comes back, or at least a Jelinski callback. Get the point for that.
Yeah.
Because Jeff straight up said that in honor of Jelinski.
Mm-hmm.
Ponderosa video comeback, nope.
Oh.
And Venus will have a blow up with someone in camp. I'm gonna give you that because of Soda.
Mm.
Or was that not a blow up?
Depends on our definition of blow up.
Yeah, what's your blow up? What's your...
Or we could give it half a point, but
Yeah.
you know, because they weren't yelling at each other, but there was the whole like.
Well, Tevin
I
did say
know.
that it's the T in camp.
Yeah. I know that you put my name down.
And then they go off
Grumpy
and talk
Venus.
to each other.
I like Grumpy Venus. I'm here for it.
Okay, so moving forward, the episode title for next week is Hide and Seek. Who you got?
Oh.
Mm. Mm. It seems like a fairly generic episode, doesn't it?
It might be. Obviously not Jelinski.
Who would say hide and seek?
Well,
Because
I'll go.
it's making reference. It's making reference to Hunter
The
doing the
Hunter,
spy shack
yeah,
thing,
yeah,
where the hunter becomes the hunted.
No.
yeah. Or or is he being a hunter lying in wait for his prey?
That was the first thing that when I saw the next time on, and they were like Hunter, Hunter, like the hunter becomes the hunted.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna start it off. I'm gonna say it's Hunter actually saying it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna go like, I'm gonna play a little bit of hide and seek. He makes a spy shot. He did what
Yeah.
Tony couldn't do, right? Tony never had a spy shack that was high up, right?
Yeah, he failed, right, when he tried to
He
make
failed
the.
because like everyone was like, Tony making his spy shack, but we all saw him anyway.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that Venus gets the line.
Okay.
Talking about Hunter, like she's gonna be like irked or annoyed at Hunter. You know,
It's all
like
because
it's
you
like
want to
he's
see
playing-
Grumpy Venus.
Yeah, I'm here for Grumpy Venus. So it's gonna be Grumpy Venus bitching about Hunter.
What about you, Martz?
Maybe Kenzie. About an item.
Oh, about an item. Not necessarily about Hunter. That's nice. That's nice. That's playing it differently. Okay. What other predictions do you have?
I'm gonna predict the exact opposite of what you predicted last week. That the Journey Alliance comes together, only strengthened because they got rid of their weakest they got rid of the weakest link.
Okay.
Oh, nice,
Because
nice,
like
nice.
Tim was the shakiest one, and so the rest of them come together like, all right, we got rid of the shady one, so like we can move forward together now without having to worry about Hunter. Without having to worry about Tim. Yeah.
Mhm.
And Maria gets on board being +1, right? and she I'm and just like those stupid um pyramid schemes,
Mm-hmm.
she has to bring in a +1 because it's the +1 alliance, and so she brings in Charlie.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna predict the opposite of that. Yes, she's going to go in to that. She's going to stay in that. Now it's a alliance of five, but
Mm.
she's gonna keep her alliance with Charlie on the low down. On the down low. Sorry. And
Mm.
so that they can still move behind the scenes without anyone else knowing. Because I do think that they are going to be such a huge power couple.
Mm. Keeps Charlie.
I mean, Charlie's gonna know about
Yeah, yeah. I think
the
that's
Oh,
Journey Alliance.
okay. I guess.
I think that's actually what I had in mind, but that's not how it came out. So you know what? Fuck
Hmm.
it. She brings in Charlie to the Journey Alliance just to make it
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah. What about you, Marts? What are your other
Uh,
predictions?
Maybe it's an immunity run for Mama Maria.
Ooh.
Hmm. So you think that she's gonna get another immunity challenge win? All
I
right.
guess so. I'm feeling it for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Her thing was really good. Like at the end, it was her and Tevin, and where she put her foot versus where Tevin put his foot.
Mm.
Like she didn't have to do any sort of fancy Tai Chi things to keep her balance because she knew where to put her foot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like Tevin had his foot out and she had her foot
In
directly
front,
behind.
right? Behind. Oh yeah, she had it
Behind.
behind.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I can see that.
Again, keeping your balance and keeping your center centered, basically.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's the thing that has never happened before that
Oh.
Jeff alludes to?
Ooh. I don't know. I don't know. Let's ask our survivor historian.
Gosh.
This is where we can get ridiculous,
Yeah,
right?
of
Because yeah,
course.
What's the question again? That whoa.
because
Because
the
Jeff says that I've never seen this happen before or something like
or
that.
this has never happened before. Like
This
right
has
at the
never
very,
happened before.
it's the last line of
The next
The
time
it's the
on.
last line of the next time on, and it happens during tribal. He says, "I've never seen this happen before. This hasn't happened before."
And then there's a reaction shot of Soda like doing the whole surprised look. Yeah. So
what
what
hasn't
do you
happened
say?
before? Richard Hatz never went to tribal naked, I guess, so that could be on par with a course.
So someone's gonna come in naked from
If that's the line. But I don't think it's naked.
Hmm.
It could be anything actually. Because
Yeah,
there's all
yeah.
kinds of things.
What's your thing? What do you predict
What's
is
your
gonna
outlandish theory?
Yeah.
Outlandish theory.
I have my outlandish theory, but
I haven't thought about it yet. So while Martin is saying his, I'm gonna think about mine.
Uh, well, maybe it would be a bird might have they call it droplings on Jeff or a contestant while they were mid sentence talking to Jeff. Like, whoa, I never seen that happen before. It can be like that. So act of, force majeure or something, right? I'm going with that. Because if we gotta go through the scat train, we gotta go to
yeah,
that train.
because of our yeah, because of the theme of
Yeah.
poop. Yes.
It's gotta be poop.
Gosh, that got me distracted. I still don't know what my thing is. What about you, Joe? What's yours?
It is going to be a 1 vote.
That has never happened yet in this setup, in the current number of people. Yeah, I agree. If that will happen, it'll happen. That can be possible. Yeah.
Yeah, I am
There we go.
leaning. I am leaning towards something happening with the vote.
Oh, 1-1-1.
No, no, no. Of course, not a one. Huh. Wow. I'm drawing blanks. They vote for Jeff. I don't know.
That has happened before.
Production will
In
just tell
a
them vote again.
it's happened before in a spoof, right?
Yeah, but not in a real.
I mean, like somebody tried, right? People have tried to put Jeff's name on the parchment, and production was like, "You can't do that."
Yep. Can't do that. And they won't air that, so I doubt it.
No, 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 of course not. What? Sheesh. I don't know. I don't have an easy answer for that. I don't have a quick answer for it.
It's
Yeah, but
okay not to.
that's a really nice question. It's a really nice question. What is that? What is that something that's never happened before? Yeah, I've got nothing.
A
I've
vote
got
of
nothing.
It's not that easy.
That both your answers are really yeah, those would really drop the jaw of it. Soda.
But watches, it's just something so, just so mundane.
Yeah.
Probably someone admitting to something. I don't know.
Yeah, or like everybody left their bag at camp, taking a
Everyone's so secure.
yeah. Everyone's so secure in whatever is strong that they left their bag at camp or something.
Yeah.
Or the other thing is everybody votes for Venus. She plays her shot in the dark, it hits, and then like there aren't any votes.
But didn't
And
that already happen with Caleb?
Uh-huh.
wasn't there another vote, or no? They revoted. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that already happened with
Oh
Caleb.
man. Oh man.
That already I don't know.
See, after the thing that after advantage get in that uh it's quite hard to find things that have never happened before.
Yeah, I think one of the last things that never happened before was the Caleb shot in the dark hitting, right? Unless we go really absurd, you know, like
And
what you said.
everybody plays the shot in the dark. And so there's one vote. Because the only person that voted was the person that's immune.
No, I'll tone it down a little because I mean I'll say that 6 of them play the shot in the dark and one actually hits, and it's the person who doesn't need it. So let's go with like Maria has the immunity necklace, and then 6 of them, including Charlie. So no. So Maria doesn't win the immunity necklace, and the +1 alliance all use their shot in the dark. One of them hits, and that's Maria, but none of the votes are going her way.
All right.
There you go. All right. So let's move on to
I wonder. I really wonder, right? If
yeah,
is that how that's how the odds work, right? Like
all 6 of you are
if
if
six if
6
all
of
6
you,
of you play, one is guaranteed to hit,
yeah,
right? It
it
isn't
should be
like
that way.
it isn't like a 1 in 6 every time, or
I think so, right?
because there are two ways you can look at it, right? It's either a 1 in 6 every time, so pull out a scroll and then not safe. All right, roll up the scroll, put it back in, pull out another scroll. So it's always a 1 in 6 shot.
I don't know. I do not actually know that. That's why I wanted to for it to be something like that. We would have to have them actually roll the die, right?
Yeah. I know that it's 1 in 6. Tapos,
Is
yeah,
it one?
because this it's different if it's if the outcome is dependent or not dependent on other things that have happened.
Mm.
Di ba? So like every
So say for
time
example, if
somebody's
I pick out the parchment and there are five left, does it and I so happen to get a not safe parchment, do they replenish that with a not safe parchment?
yeah, that's I actually want to see that because
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the rule is because yeah, if it's a 1 in 6 and it becomes a 1 in 5, a 1 in 4, a 1 in 3, so one is guaranteed to hit.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Maybe they're also curious about it. That's why they all played Shot in the Dark because it was such a sure vote for Venus that six of them actually said, you know what? Let's all play Shot in the Dark to see if it actually works.
I like it.
Yeah. So yeah,
And it
let's
was
go.
Q's idea.
And it was Q's idea because he wants clarity in the in the rules because he's a rules guy. um yeah, so let's go ahead and go to Survivor of the Week. Who do you have as Castaway of the Week?
Mm. Right.
If I were to say it's Q, but then again, Q told me to say Q. No,
Okay.
just kidding. For me, it would be I don't know why, but I feel like this episode would be Tevin's, but it's just
Mm,
me because
Mm.
he actually did it. Though obviously Venus wants the credit grab because Soda got out, but
mm,
I still feel
Yeah.
Tevin's long-term plan, which was already made a few episodes back, finally came to fruition. One of his goals happened, and good for him. So does out.
mm. Nice, nice, nice. What about you, Joe?
Genzi.
Mm,
Or
yeah.
maybe Hunter. Maybe Hunter. And the reason I say Hunter is just the chutzpah that you need to not play your idol in his position.
Yeah.
Like that
You,
was a really ballsy move that absolutely paid off.
Mhm.
yeah. Well, I guess that he was really secure. He felt secure because he did say that if he feels that he's not secure in the vote, then he's gonna play his shot in the dark. But anyway, that's
But then he
beside the
no
point.
he also said that like part of him wants to play it,
Hmm.
regardless. Like the John Jones, the that guy from 44, whatever,
Okay.
Godfather, John. James James Jones, Blue Tribe.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, his theory is like in the new era of Survivor, if you have an idol, you have to play it regardless
Oh.
mm,
because you never know what's
Yeah.
gonna happen.
Yep.
But then Hunter was like, "No, I'm gonna play this old school,"
hmm
and like it paid off. Like the balls on that guy to do that.
and we've seen
From
how not playing an idol
Could cost you.
back it cost Gem,
Yep.
yeah,
right?
it cost so many people before.
Yeah.
So yeah, but then I'm honor bound to say that it's Kenzie because like I
Well,
said, in a game of for $1 million, she's actually winning 1 million hearts.
Exactly. I actually have the same one. Kenzie showed her path to the million, and she really got it good for this episode.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm getting more and more convinced. I mean, my canonical winner pick is now Devin, but I think that Kenzie is getting more of a winner's edit
okay.
moving
Yeah, but
forward.
Tevin got the opening confessional. That's a huge
Yeah,
thing that's going
That's
for
a
him.
strong vote.
but then again, what's her name? Didn't win
Carolyn
either.
also did.
Carolyn
Yeah.
didn't win either.
And they didn't show the big thing that is really going for Tevin is that secret scene towards the beginning where he was really mean to Venus.
And they didn't show it.
They didn't show it. Yeah, it was a secret scene, so they didn't want to show him being mean too early on.
Although in the next time on, he does seem to be giddy about something, and I am thinking that is connected to something he did to Venus or something he said about Venus.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why Liz is like, "Stop it" or whatever, "Shut up" or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so
yeah,
goat of the week.
yeah. Go to the week. Who do you have, Marts?
Ah, Q. You got
Mhm.
Q. I got this. I don't think it's gonna go well for him in the next 2 episodes. If he's even gonna last 2 episodes,
Mhm.
I'm scared he might be next if they find him to, in charge of this this Journey Alliance, and
Mm.
the same thing he thought about Tim, right? It might go back to haunt him now.
What same thing you thought about Tim?
Like he thought, oh, Tim thinks he's in charge of this, blah blah blah, and early on in the
Mm.
episode, Charlie was already alluding to, oh, so he thinks he's in charge,
Mhm.
or he
Yeah.
knows he's running
Yeah,
the game, right? So
and yeah, Tiff and Kenzie also have a similar conversation.
yeah,
Yeah, this is
it's
not a
not
it's
safe.
not a
It's not.
Q.
It's not the
Yeah.
Q show. Q.
Yeah, it's not a Q show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's hard.
Oh, that is same. Same.
mm,
My goat of the week is
Q.
Q. But just to make it interesting, I can also see a case for it being Venus.
Mhm.
But it's just more Q.
Mhm. Yeah. While I do see that both are, if they get to the final, they are playing zero a zero vote finalist
Games.
game. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's because they're playing too hard. They're playing too hard. They're not hiding their intentions. Despite the fact that Q said that he threw the challenge on purpose and he was hiding his true intentions. Uh, but anyway, yeah, for me it's Venus because her edit for this episode really showed how unaware she was of the circumstances. I'll keep on going back to what you said, Joe. She gets in her own way. Um, that conversation with Maria. Maria was trying to be the Caleb to her Emily, and then she just goes and I think that's her pride, right? You know what? This is a
Hmm.
person who is trying to help you get into this game. You think that you're in the game, and to think that she knew that she was on the outs, but
Yeah.
and you have this person who is trying to help you get into the game, get some agency in the game, get a foot in the game, but you go ahead and say, I think that it was her pride that made her say that.
Mm.
What
Yeah.
kind of thinking is that?
Hmm.
She's so unaware of her place in the tribe right now. I hope that it changes. I hope that I hope that she gains some awareness just the same way as Emily did. But I mean, Emily gained it a whole lot earlier than she did.
Yeah.
So yeah, and she and Venus didn't benefit from a tribe swap that showed her different circumstances. Right? Emily had that in her
Mm.
season. She was sent to a different tribe and she had different people to work with and she was basically able to reinvent herself in such a short amount of time. But yeah, Venus right now, she's getting in her own way.
Yeah. She is she feels like she has something to prove. It feels like she
Mm.
feels like she has something to prove, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and she's trying too hard to, like, I'm young but I can be like really good at this. Just play the game. Play the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. These are three Titos talking. Oh, two, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, purple of the week. Marts?
You know,
Is there?
Oh yeah.
Seems like
Again,
because you know how
this is where we
sometimes
can
we
be
have
yeah.
yeah, so sometimes we have like those jokey purple of the
Yeah.
weeks when there isn't an actual purple.
Mhm.
okay. Where's
But
Jolinsky? There.
Okay.
Jelinsky is the purple of the week because he was alluded to, but then he's not
Uh-huh.
there.
He's not there.
And usually when we decide to be joking about it, um, uh we either make it like a concept or an inanimate object that is the purple.
Mhm.
I see.
I'm going to have a purple that is a concept slash inanimate object but it's a
Ooh.
serious purple of the week.
What is it?
Tribal lines.
Ooh. Nice.
Mm. Medyo malalim si Tito ngayon.
I'll put the subtitle for what that is in but anyway. All right. Care to explain yourself, Joe?
Yeah, tribal lines that, for all intents and purposes, should be there aren't there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Like, what's his name talked about it? Charlie talked about it. It's like vast oceans in Nami.
For me, mine is, well, I already mentioned it earlier. It's any real stakes, any sense of real stakes in this season's final 12 vote.
Mm.
Yeah, or at least at this stage of the I don't know if it's always in the final 12. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, any real stakes at this stage of the game. Right, I don't really feel how high the stakes were. Although yes, well, like what you did mention, Joe, my winner pick did get voted out, but I didn't. I don't know. I didn't feel how big the decision was in the game. In the game,
You know, I think, like, now that I think about it, my thinking on it is, because at least when it comes to Soda, her vote out wasn't about her being voted out.
Mm-hmm.
Her vote out was about the conflict between Tevin and Venus. We when we were talking about
Mm-hmm.
this, like, it, yeah, because the vote out wasn't about Soda. It was her vote out was in service of another story. So that's perhaps why it, at least
Maybe.
when it comes to Soda,
Yeah.
I guess that's my thinking on it now.
That's definitely one way to see it. Yeah. Yeah, she was basically collateral damage. It wasn't she wasn't really being targeted. Yeah. It was because yeah. So there you got it.
It wasn't her story to be told. It wasn't her story being told.
That's right.
And
That's right.
I think we can say the same thing for Tim as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It wasn't really his story being told in his being voted out.
I think it's gonna serve. Personally, I think it's gonna serve something about Q.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was a Q story.
Yeah. All right. Any other thoughts, guys?
Yeah. That was a hell of an episode.
Hell of
Nice
an
to see.
episode.
I mean, this is in relation to the previous episodes. Like, there have been better episodes in New Era Survivor than this, but this is by far the best episode of the season, and the challenge is doing a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, the challenge.
Because that challenge was just
Such.
chef's kiss.
Such.
Everything that happened in that challenge was really good.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So anyway, if there are no more additional thoughts, that is it for tonight's episode. We definitely would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. And please subscribe to Laro-Laro Lang and the Council of Titos podcast, wherever you can find it. At any rate, this has been Joel Parcon.
Baltimore.
Kansas. C. With a C.
All right. I thought that was Kansas with a Q. Anyway, we hope to see you on the council again soon. Until then, mga kalaro, stay safe. The Titos have spoken.